What's going on? This is Magic Mitch, and in this food adventure, you're gonna see me load up on an unnecessary amount of drinks as I take on this huge calzone challenge. And this battle takes place at a restaurant called Pizzaria in Portland, Oregon. And it's here that I'm taking on their Monster Calzone Challenge. Now for this calzone challenge, it's pretty interesting because you actually get to choose one of their special calzone options from their menu. And once you do that, they magically transform it into a monstrosity version, which roughly weighs 5.5 pounds. And for this calzone challenge, you have a 30-minute time limit, and if you're able to take it down within that 30 minutes, you get the meal for free, which costs $27. You also get a free shirt and your picture up on their wall of fame. Now at the time of this challenge, I'd actually just finished watching a group of eaters take on this very challenge. And that group included the likes of the big man himself, Randy Santel, Max Carnage, Patrick Thomas, and last and, well, certainly least, Eager Ethan, aka the Putrid Filthmonger. And they all went with the Greek-style calzone, which I'm guessing they just wanted to be cute or something, but I wanted to be a little bit different and stray from the pack here. And as someone who does enjoy Hawaiian pizza a whole lot, I thought it'd be fun to try their Hawaiian calzone for this challenge, which included ham, pineapple, and feta cheese. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I wasn't looking to push my luck here, seeing as I was still feeling under the weather, and it was at this point in the trip that we were staying with some of my family who also came out to watch my challenge, so I definitely did not want to let them down. So because I was able to see firsthand the size of those Greek calzones, I thought it would be perfectly fine to get my calzone in the Hawaiian variety, figuring that they would be similar in size, and the ratio of all the ingredients in the Greek calzone, they looked pretty good. So that did make me feel pretty confident about getting the Hawaiian calzone. But when I first seen that challenge being brought to the table, I thought to myself, interesting. Now make no mistake, this Hawaiian calzone, it looked fantastic. With that golden outer crust, the parmesan, the herbs, and the tomato slices on top. And I also had no doubt that the quality ingredients here were top notch. But as far as this calzone challenge goes as a whole, I'll just say that compared to the calzones before mine, the amount of filling I had in my Hawaiian calzone seemed to be a bit much. And when they did bring the challenge out, I noticed that it looked a little bit bigger. But I figured, hey, it was probably just cooked weird or maybe there was even a big pocket of air trapped inside. But when I opened this calzone up, I saw so much pineapple, and I remember thinking to myself, oh wow.
Wow. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I saw the ham, which honestly, it kind of reminded me of those rolled up wads of cash you see in like gangster movies. But instead of cash, it was just straight ham. Just smaller wads of ham stuffed inside. And then for the cheese, well, let's just say that I thought they used a generous amount, and we'll leave it at that. So now that I knew I had my work cut out for me on this one, when it was game time, I just went after it using my typical routine here, as I do with any calzone challenge. And that's starting by eating the filling first and attacking the ham, as I typically prefer eating the proteins first during food challenges. But in this case, considering the amount of pineapple I'd actually have to plow through, that might have actually not been the best way to go about it here, since I could have used it to minimize flavor fatigue by mixing it up with the other flavors, which I ended up doing that with some of the crust, as well as using some of those tomato slices as a palate cleanser. As I continued to take my mighty big spoon and shovel in bite after bite of this what seems like a never-ending pile of toppings, I'm trying my absolute best to focus in on the battle at hand while listening to the sweet melodies from artists such as Kesha, Pitbull, and 303, which did help me combat some of those inner thoughts that were starting to creep up into my head, like, okay, maybe getting a Greek calzone wouldn't have been a bad idea, or is this actually the most pineapple I've eaten in one sitting? But I'm in the thick of it now, so I try to not let those thoughts distract me too much. And as I continued on, if you're enjoying your time watching this battle between this monstrous calzone and some dude with attitude who's rocking out in a turtle hoodie, then I would appreciate it if you took a few seconds to leave a little magic of your own by hitting that like button. So while I had finished a good chunk of the filling, there was still plenty left to take down. But after eating all that pineapple and the feta cheese, I gotta say, flavor fatigue, it was in full swing, especially with that cheese. Boy, that was doing a number on me in terms of flavor fatigue. I mean, after about a dozen or so mouthfuls of it, it starts losing its luster. So with that, I started incorporating more of that crust to try to mix up the flavors. Also, something I was keeping in mind was that even though I'd been recovering from my illness and even taking more days off in between challenges, I still had that general X factor, if you will, of my body at any point just not being able to hold up like it normally would. So I knew I would have to continue to attack this thing at a decent pace if I had any chance to claim victory in this battle. And as I'm dealing with peak levels of flavor fatigue, here is where things felt a bit excruciating. Because surprise, surprise, my body starts fighting back. And while I'm trying to push through it, it might not look like it, but it's such a miserable experience. And you know who's enjoying this the most? That's right, it's that scoundrel, Eager Ethan, aka the Rancid Gorger. And I can assure you, he just loves what he's watching right now, watching me just flat out struggling at this point. But I guess I gotta chalk this one up to another learning experience, because at this point in the battle, my food fighting powers were basically coming to a screeching halt. Not my foodie socks or my trusted turtle armor were enough to overcome this huge Hawaiian-filled calzone challenge. And although this hasn't ruined my love for Hawaiian-style pizza, this will probably be the last time I get these toppings with a calzone.